Okay, we'll start again. Welcome to F1 Grandstand. I'm Tony Craig, and if you are an F1 fan, you are in the right place. Join the community and get involved. Now let's talk engines for the 2026 season, and let's discuss the winners and losers, and should teams be running a competitor's manufacturer's power plant. Let's start with the changes to the engines for the 2026 season. Now, the 2026 Formula One engines will feature a significant shift towards electric power and sustainable fuels, whilst maintaining the existing 1.6 litre V6 turbocharged internal combustion engine. The biggest change is the increased reliance on the hybrid system, with electric power contributing to 50% of the total output, up from around 20% currently. Additionally, the MGU-H motor generator unit-heat will be removed, and the MGU-K motor generator unit kinetic will have its power output increased. The engines will also run on fully sustainable fuels as part of Formula One's goal to become net zero carbon by 2030. Now, if that wasn't nerdy enough, let's get a more detailed breakdown. Okay, so what does it actually mean? The increased electric power means the electric motor will contribute a much larger proportion of the overall power output, shifting the balance from the current 80% internal combustion, 20% electric, to a 50-50 split. Now, they're going to have the removal of the MGU-H, which recovers energy from exhaust gases. That's going to be eliminated. This change is intended to simplify the engine and reduce costs. Increased MGU-K, stick with me, they're going to recover energy from braking, where that will all have its power output significantly increased. Now, the stuff about sustainable fuels, the engines will utilise fully sustainable fuels potentially derived from non-food sources, municipal waste, or even the atmosphere. Now, the overall power unit will remain powerful, producing over 1,000 horsepower, but will significantly less fuel consumption. And they've also introduced a cost cap. An engine-specific cost cap will be implemented to control development expenses. Fuel, this one's an interesting one. The fuel flow rates will be measured and limited based on energy rather than mass. So now you've got all the technical information of what's happening, why things are changing, and what those new power plants will be for 2026. What engines will each team be running? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So obviously Red Bull have developed their own powertrain with Ford, so they're going to be running that. Mercedes are running a Mercedes powertrain. Ferrari running a Ferrari powertrain. McLaren will be running Mercedes powertrain. Aston Martin have an exclusive deal with Honda to run their powertrain. Alpine will be running the Mercedes powertrain because Renault no more. They have ditched their engine program. Racing Bulls, obviously the sister team to Red Bull, they'll be running the Red Bull Ford powertrain. Newcomers Audi will be running the Audi powertrain. Haas will be running the Ferrari powertrain. Williams will be running the Mercedes powertrain. Cadillac will be running the Ferrari powertrain. But this is what leads me to the whole point of this video. Toto Wolff Mercedes, they're supplying powertrains to 3 teams out of the 11. That's nearly a third of the grid running Mercedes powertrains. And you've also got Ferrari doing the same thing. Ferrari are going to be supplying 3 out of the 11 teams. You know, we've got Cadillac, Haas and Ferrari all running Ferrari powertrains. Now, Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport. It's the jewel in the motorsport crown. Do we think it's possible, no matter how likely or unlikely, is it possible that there could be fuckery that takes place? Because if I'm Mercedes and I'm supplying powertrains to my competitors, is there a way I can disadvantage my competitors and advantage my team? I mean, we think and we assume that with whatever regulations are put in place that can't happen. I'm not convinced. When the prize is this big and the competition is this big, surely it's possible that some fuckery could take place. And Ferrari are in the same boat. They're supplying 3 of the 11 teams. If, you know, these people are ruthless competitors, if there is a way, they'll find a way. I need to be convinced, though, that there isn't a way. How do we know? And the reason why I say this is when I was a kid, I couldn't afford to race go-karts, so I used to race radio-controlled cars. And we used to have electric motors. And you could buy the same electric motor with 28 winds, but when you put those little motors on a dyno, the same spec motor, well, some of them perform better than others on the dyno. Some were more powerful, some were more efficient, but the spec was the same. So I would obviously know that if I was selling those motors, my team drivers would have the best motors, even though on paper they're the same. I want to know, could that happen in Formula One? I mean, when we were doing it, we were just doing it for fun. There was no prize money at stake. But we're talking about the pinnacle of motorsport. We're talking about F1 teams now being worth billions and billions of dollars. If there is a chance that some fuckery could take place as a supplier of those engines, don't you think somebody might do it? Or am I just being paranoid? Or, you know, is my skepticism completely unfounded? I just think that at these levels, if you can find a way, they will find a way. Which brings me on to my next point. We're talking about the pinnacle of motorsport. This is Formula One, baby. If we're talking about the most exclusive motor racing series in the world, why don't we have a system or rules where we either say to every single team, you have to have a unique power plant, either develop your own, or do what Aston Martin have done with Honda and have an exclusive partnership for the powertrain? Because that way we can guarantee a clean and, you know, there's no fuckery that can take place if everyone's competing against each other, but we're also driving the development and technology on. Now, I understand the cost of developing these new powertrains is huge, which is why companies, manufacturers like Mercedes and Ferrari can do this. But I also know that I also know that we need to consider that we need to keep the integrity of the F1 sport. So here's the other option. If teams can't get an exclusive powertrain from their own manufacturer or from a unique exclusive partnership, why don't we have a system where one independent company makes all the engines, but they are in no way taking part or affiliated with just one team? So all engines are supplied from a central source. Wouldn't that make sense? Because then there's no interest in one team getting a better engine than another team. And it would give, it really would help the integrity of the sport. Because I'm just not convinced that this current system of other teams supplying powertrains to their competitors doesn't lend itself to total fuckery. Imagine a situation where you've got Mercedes versus Alpine, okay? There's a few points in it. It's close, coming to the end of the season. I want to know how fuckery can't take place. Is it because the engines are supplied at the beginning of the season, so none of that can happen? I think that might be the case. But even so, I still think that I would rather a sport that is the pinnacle of motorsport, that each team must have a unique or an exclusive arrangement where no teams are using the same powertrain. That's just what I think. I'd like to see it happen. I don't know how they make it happen. I don't know what you think. Do you think that would be better for the sport? Would that be good for the sport? Does it bother you or not? Or are you quite comfortable with that situation where two teams are supplying half of the field with their powertrains? Because loads of people want to get in the F1 business right now. It's booming. I think we need to consider, from a competitive point of view, that each team should have their own unique powertrain. That's just what I think. Don't shoot the messenger. It's just what I think. But I understand that you might have a different view. I want to hear what that view is. I want you to get involved in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what you think. And let's discuss it. Because that's what this is about. This is a community. It's all about opinion. And I want to hear yours. So get involved in the comments. Tell me what you think. And let's discuss it. Tell me what it means for the sport. Okay? Tell me what you think. Okay. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the technical gremlins at the beginning. Please like, comment, join the community, subscribe and hit the bell so you can keep up to date. I'll be back tomorrow with more news. I'm going to see you then.